Scandal and controversy have reached boiling point in Greenthumbs' garden. Today I risk all to blow the whistle on these sanctimonious little creatures, to shine a light on their clandestine activities. So what am I talking about? Well, over the last 8 months, my garden of potted plants have been suffering a terrible malediction. Now, it's going to be easier to show you what is going on with my potted plants. And I'd love to know if you can guess what you think it might be. Let me know in the comments below what has been driving me absolutely insane. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you how you can control and get rid of this problem, and how you can build a really simple trap. Oh, it's all right for some. It's all right for some. That's all I got to say on that one. Look at that little scrub down there, darling. Just laughing his head off. I'm going to also show you how to knock up a really easy, simple little trap to take care of these critters. So this breakdown of my soil structure is happening throughout most of my potted plants. You can see that the soil is losing all of its qualities of adhesion, its ability to hold water. This is then causing the soil to dry out to the point where it becomes hydrophobic. And even though you're watering the plants thoroughly, the water just pours out right out of the bottom. It looks wet on the surface, and that fools you into thinking that your plants have been watered. My prized lemon tree is took a beating because it wasn't getting enough water. It's left it susceptible to pest attacks and fruit dropping early because basically the tree was drying out and I wasn't even aware of it. I lost a few other plants and trees as well, and for most of this time I was at a loss of what could have been causing this soil erosion. I had my suspicions, and each time I sought out information on the net, I was met with staunch resistance. I came across a handful of people that seemed to be having the exact same problem I was facing. They were quickly beaten down by the mob and burnt as heretics for daring to question the piety and integrity of these highly regarded creatures. So I did wonder. What I was seeing was 2 + 2, but what the net was assuring me of is that equaled 5. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you've guessed already what problem I've been facing with my potted plants. So we're here, the whistle is about to be blown, the curtain unveiled. What I was seeing in all my worst affected pots was that they all had a high population of composting worms, California red wrigglers. Oh, the shock, the horror. How dare you besmirch their name? To the stake with him. Can't shout louder than that, I would love to, but the neighbours are going to think that I'm a lunatic. Let's just be clear that worms are brilliant at supporting the local ecology. They are machines at processing and digesting organic matter, aerating the soil and reinvigorating it. You've heard the expression often, healthy soil is living soil. However, this doesn't always translate over to potted plants. Just take a look at my worm bin. Each red wriggler worm is capable of eating half its body weight daily. That's huge. I started about a year back with 250 Californian red wrigglers, which are a pretty popular composting worm because they're absolutely voracious. They can deal with a wide variety of temperatures, and well, we'll talk about that in another video in the future. Now, a year later, I must have close to a couple of kilos of these worms just in my worm bin. The dark elixir that they produce is nutrient-rich worm castings, worm poop. You get also the liquid that they produce that you can tap off regularly. It's an excellent fertilizer for your plants, and once you've got a decent population of these little critters, well, you've got an awesome free organic fertilizer for your plants. Problem lies when these little fellas find their way to your potted plants, and it's easily done. Even when you strain off the liquid, you're going to have a few eggs in there or a few babies that you can hardly see in the finished product. and they're going to make their way to your potted plants. And when they do, they cause utter destruction. They breed quickly and gobble up everything in sight. They're super duper active, turning over the soil like a tractor, indefatigably ploughing a field over and over and over again. The soil composition turns to slush and washes out the bottom of your pots until there's nothing of substance left. The roots become disconnected from the soil structure and basically dry out. That's what the problem we have with our pots. They're starving, they've got nowhere to go, so they just keep eating and eating the same thing. That really in the wild, they probably look for a nice tasty rotting leaf or a bit of fruit or something else, and they'd spread out and they wouldn't be a problem. They'd also be more naturally controlled in the wild by predators and other things that would gobble them up as a tasty meal. Now, there's a huge difference between earthworms and California red wrigglers and other types of composting worms, namely how much they devour, but that's a topic for another video, and let's just say I'm of the opinion that I want neither in my potted plants. So how can we fix this issue? Well, let me show you. We're basically going to be using the carrot on a stick method. The worms, well, they want food. In the pot, well, they've got very little options available. So if we provide them a tasty meal, well, it's a good chance that they'll be there freeloading. So taking advantage of that simple knowledge, I've took a cheap plastic container and I've burnt some holes in the bottom and around the sides. You put as many holes in there as you want, as many access points as possible so the worms can get into that container. Then for the bait, place some organic matter, for instance, some kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, some peels, maybe a little bit of soil from your garden, and some shredded paper. Worms eat a diet, a mixture of carbon and organic matter at a 50% ratio, so get some paper in there too, and place the container slightly buried just under the soil surface. This trap I've had in for about a week, and you can see how many worms has ended up in that container. This is going to be a process that's going to be needed to be repeated time and time again until we've removed as many worms as possible. It's a real nuisance, and I'll be honest, I don't even know if this is ever going to really get rid of them completely. I'm never going to be at a point where I've got every worm out of that pot. And I don't know really how else I can deal with it in a natural way without adding poisons to my pots and my plants. Hopefully one day I'll be able to have a garden and I'll be able to get these pots right in the ground and give them a nice permanent home. The worms can like go off and do the thing, get gobbled up by a starling or something. What I've been doing recently with my worm bin, when I extract the liquid that is gathered at the bottom, I've been adding boiling hot water to it and letting it sit for half an hour to cool down. I've been diluting that, say about 1:10 ratio, and I've been feeding my plants with it. But really, I don't really know what to do, whether to give up on the worms, to be honest, completely. It's a super great fertiliser to have all that humus like worm castings available, and the liquid, it's the gift that keeps giving, but it's gave a little bit too much. I've come to believe it isn't compatible with a potted garden. You'd be better off making weed fertiliser or finding other ways to get a free fertiliser to your plants. Let me know your experiences. Maybe there's some keen vermiculturists out there watching this video now. Would love to hear from you guys how you've dealt with this problem. And also it'd be really handy for the community when they check them comments out. So guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss a future upload. Hit that like button as well to let YouTube know that you like this content. And if you want to support the channel further, well, now you can join the channel as a member, and that comes with some additional little perks. And we've got some cool channel merch out as well if you feel like you want to check that out. Until next time guys, I'll see you later.